The Sunshine State soaked. Irma weakening to a tropical depression as the storm moves north. Fierce winds and heavy rain shredding parts of Florida.
Right now we're worried about lives, not cost.
The devastation residents in Florida are waking up to this morning and where the storm is heading next. Plus, ex-Governor Rod Blagojevich speaking from his prison in Colorado, opening up for the very first time about his life behind bars. And Governor Bruce Rauner embarking on a week-long trip to China and Japan, the steps he is taking overseas to spur economic growth back here in Illinois. But first, remembering a day that changed America forever, honoring the victims of 9/11.
Not one day goes by that I don't think of you.
Right
I thank
now,
you for
the
the time
names
we've
of the
had.
nearly 3,000 people killed that day are being read out loud. We'll have much more on the anniversary of 9/11 in just a moment. We begin with continuing coverage of the destruction and devastation left behind by Hurricane Irma. Good morning and thanks for joining us on Midday. I'm Jenn Sullivan. Irma, now a tropical storm making its way towards Georgia. This morning, 4.6 million people are without power. This is video of the record-breaking flooding in Jacksonville. Irma brought 90-mile-per-hour wind gusts to Miami and enough rain to flood some of the area's roadways. Winds from Hurricane Irma tore off part of the roof from 2 apartment buildings in the Riviera Beach community, forcing dozens to evacuate.
If you need to get out, please put what represents a white flag, anything white, somewhere on your house that can be viewed visibly from outside. We have search and rescue teams ready to deploy.
It could take several weeks before power is restored because those fierce winds tore down multiple power lines. Well, utility crews in Illinois are en route to Florida to help out with that situation. CWLP workers left for Lake Worth, Florida early Saturday morning, and ComEd employees are also heading down to help. They hope to help make sure Florida residents get their power back on within a few weeks after that hurricane struck. Remnants of Tropical Storm Irma could impact us here in central Illinois, but not right now. A live look over Springfield. We have plenty of sunshine that could change in the next few days. Let's check in with meteorologist Joe Crane in the Weather Center. Joe, as what's now a Tropical Storm Irma moves its way north, could it be impacting us here in our area? Thank you, Joe. Today marks 16 years since the deadly terror attacks on 9/11. Bells rung out at 8:46 this morning and 9:37, marking the moments the plane struck the north and then the south tower of the World Trade Center. The commemoration at the memorial in New York City began with a moment of silence. Then victims' relatives began reading the names of the nearly 3,000 people killed when 4 hijacked planes struck the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, and a Pennsylvania field.
All of them love this country and pledged their very lives to protect it. That September morning, each of those brave Americans died as they had lived, as heroes, doing their duty and protecting us and our country. We mourn them, we honor them, and we pledge to never, ever forget them.
Earlier Monday morning, the September 11th Memorial and Museum opened solely for family members. Well, following the attacks on 9/11 16 years ago, firefighters from all across the country went to New York to help with cleanup efforts. Among them was Springfield firefighter Jamie Kincaid. He's now retired after serving 20 years with the department. He's currently in Houston helping provide support to victims of Hurricane Harvey through the Illinois Baptist Disaster Relief. We asked him what this day means to him, seeing firsthand the devastation left behind.
As a personal story, I still can't watch any programs on it. It's too emotional. In the fire department, you're all brothers, no matter where you are in the world. Sisters, brothers, it's more of a family than a job.
Jamie retired from the Springfield Fire Department a few years ago after suffering from a heart attack. This morning, Governor Bruce Rauner is in Japan as part of an 8-day trip to Asia. He departed Saturday. It's the first international trade mission of his administration. The goal is to attract foreign job creators to the state. Illinois' export volume puts it in a position to benefit greatly from increased overseas trade and investment. Rauner plans to put an emphasis on things like corporate recruitment and business retention, as well as expansion.
There are 44,000 Illinoisans who work for Japanese companies in Illinois. There are more than 600 facilities that Japanese firms have in the state of Illinois. We have a great trade relationship, great tourism relationship with Japan, and we're seeking to expand that partnership and that friendship, create more job opportunities here in Illinois, and expand trade between our two nations.
Rauner will also visit China. He'll return home September 17th. Social services across Illinois will begin seeing the money that they're owed from the state because of the budget impasse. Roughly $70 million was set aside in the recently passed budget to pay for things like autism, epilepsy, and immigration programs. The governor's office says that Rauner has begun signing contracts with these nonprofit groups so that they can receive some of that money. It will be some time before they receive the full amount that they're owed, though. Ex-Governor Rod Blagojevich is speaking out for the first time about life in prison in Colorado. He spoke to Chicago Magazine and NBC5 TV. The first portion of the interviews will air tonight at 10 p.m. In the interviews, he allegedly reveals startling details about what life is like on the inside. Blagojevich is serving a 14-year prison sentence for corruption charges, including trying to sell then-Senator Barack Obama's seat. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is scheduled to visit Chicago today and speak at a university conference. She's expected to appear at Roosevelt University this evening as part of a program focusing on themes of law, social justice, and the American dream. The event is a conversation between Ginsburg and U.S. Court of Appeals Judge Ann Claire Williams. Honoring a fallen sailor, how residents in central Illinois are remembering Petty Officer Logan Palmer.